At night, he was the top gangster in the underworld, feared by countless people, but during the day, he transformed into a gentle and refined high school teacher. On his first day, as he approached the classroom door, he was met by the head teacher, who burst out in full armor and covered in dust. Right behind him, another teacher ran out in tears. It turned out that this class was the most notorious troublemaking class in the entire school. No one dared to teach them. As soon as the man stepped into the classroom, he saw students cooking hot pot on their desks, some live streaming, and others had even set up a ping pong table to practice. But instead of getting angry, he laughed and even went over to personally coach one of the students on how to hit the ball with more force. Suddenly, a student, annoyed by this presumptuous new teacher, swung his paddle towards him. In response, the man flipped his textbook and deflected the attack with a precise counter, instantly silencing the entire class. However, the students didn't back down and continued to act as if nothing had happened. The man didn't lose his temper, but instead tried to reason with them. The class leader sneered and said that in this day and age, good grades were useless. To be successful, one had to follow the example of Boss Gene. What they didn't know was that the seemingly gentle teacher in front of them was none other than Boss Gene himself. Without showing any emotion, the man proposed a bet. If any student could embarrass him in front of everyone within 7 days, he would leave immediately. Otherwise, the whole class would have to listen to him and study diligently. The students agreed on the spot, confident that they would win. The next day, they set up a basin of flour at the classroom door, planning to give the teacher a warm welcome. But as soon as the door opened, the man walked in calmly with an umbrella, perfectly avoiding the flour. As he sat down, a barrage of objects flew towards him. With a flick of his umbrella, he deflected them all, his movements flawless. Even more impressive was that his chair had been covered in super glue, meant to trap him and cause a scene when he sat down. But the man didn't sit at all. Instead, he stood in a horse stance and lectured, not moving an inch. The class leader tried to mock him, but ended up being pushed into the chair by the man, tearing his pants in the process, which caused an uproar of laughter in the classroom. But the troublemakers still weren't ready to give up. During physical education class, one of them complained that practicing ping pong was boring, and challenged the teacher to a 3-point contest, betting that if they lost, they would listen to him. The troublemaker made 3 shots in a row, and the whole class was ecstatic, thinking they had won for sure. Unexpectedly, the man walked to the midline and made 3 shots in a row, all perfect swishes, with an accuracy that was almost inhuman. The students were left speechless, and just as they began to feel a sense of respect, the troublemaker struck again after school, secretly planting a fake prop in his car, planning to film him in an embarrassing situation to gain attention. But they didn't know that the prop was actually dangerous. The man sensed it and immediately rushed in, pushing everyone out of the way, and preventing a real disaster. The students finally realized that Teacher Gene was no ordinary person. The once unruly troublemakers finally bowed their heads, admitting their mistakes and promising to follow his lead from then on. But before the man could catch his breath, a student named Huang Xiao returned to school and requested to be transferred to his class. Huang Xiao was not an easy character. As the nephew of the school director, he had a strong background and a bad temper, and he had driven away several teachers before.